couple of weeks ago, I told you that we'd received the Professor Joy report related to Fiskville. Today I want to tell you that not only have we worked through that report, but we're now releasing in total Professor Joy's report and also CFA's response to that report. Reading the report may make people feel concerned or anxious. Some of our members have been waiting for this for some period of time. What's important about the report, Professor Joy report, is that that's where the facts of what happened at Fiskville have been collated. In considering the report, CFA has accepted the contents of the report, the facts that it's produced, the conclusions Professor Joy has drawn, and the recommendations that he's provided to us. Our steps going forward will be to implement those recommendations. The 10 recommendations provided by Professor Joy will be implemented by CFA. Also, we've developed another 11 initiatives that need to be put in place to ensure that we progress as an organisation from the learnings from Fiskville. Importantly, the report points at many pieces of work that need to be done to understand whether there are any environmental contaminations at Fiskville or other regional training grounds. It gives us a couple of safety things to pick up as well, and we're working through those now. So we can run business as usual at Fiskville training facility and at our regional training facilities while we implement the recommendations. There will be testing, there will be monitoring, and there will be other actions, but we can continue to safely use the sites. The Professor Joy report studies the past. It studies the practices of periods that have gone before us. CFA and the board of CFA particularly believe that we haven't done well enough in that era. We regret many of those practices. But what we know is we can't change the past. But we can learn from the past, and we can take responsibility now for matters of the past, and we can improve the current setting through the recommendations and the initiatives that have been agreed. For example, the report indicates that CFA had a late awakening to occupational health and safety. Linton, that event that many remember and will continue to remember, made an immense difference to our attitude to health and safety. The investments were strong, particularly in the operating end of CFA's activities. Truck design changed. Our whole approach to the fire ground was amended to ensure that safety came first. So too, we can take into the future that safety first culture at other parts of CFA, those areas where it hasn't yet had as much resonance. The training grounds perhaps, the DMOs and many other parts of CFA. To do this, we will in fact be implementing new business systems and processes. We will seek accreditation under Australian standards and international standards. We must do this to be a viable and successful CFA and a safe one for our people into the future. Moreover, we must also take our responsibility for the environment we occupy seriously. We can't injure it as we wouldn't injure our people. Professor Joy's report was a crucial first step for CFA in understanding what occurred at Fiskville in the time that was studied, to understand where the chemicals came from, how they were handled, how they were stored, and how they were used. This has given rise to exposures by some of our people to those chemicals. Having this knowledge enables us to understand who might have been more exposed than others, and Professor Joy's report does talk about some being more exposed to the risk than others. This can be concerning for people, but important to understand. In reading the report, you'll be able to see where you sit in that table of risk. The pleasing issue is that the overwhelming majority of people through that site had low to negligible exposure. But we do have some occupations in that period of time who had high and medium exposure. We have within our welfare package support mechanisms including health monitoring for those who do wish to take it up. It's crucial that we not only put in place the welfare support that you may need, but equally that we take the next step. That next step is to do a health impact study. We have information from Professor Joy's report that can better enable that now. We've been talking to experts. They think that we can find ways to do that study. We want to sit down with them very, very soon and start working through what might be possible. But in doing that, we want a very open approach. I invite the unions, I invite the VFBV, and I invite some of yourselves to put your hand up and say that you would help as an advisory capacity to that study. Can I take just a minute, though, to thank Professor Robert Joy and his team for a fantastic effort over a 6-month period to deliver a report that probably could have taken 12 months or more. They've done an immense job, and I know they've drawn on the knowledge of 324 CFA members, past and present, to get a real understanding of what happened. Again, I want to talk to you about welfare because it's important. People have been using the welfare support that CFA's put in place last December and going forward. Please avail yourself of that welfare support. It's there, it's ready to go, and it's looking for you to take advantage of it. The main priority we continue to have is the welfare of all of our CFA members. Hopefully we've demonstrated our care and consideration and respect for our members by empowering Professor Joy to undertake the report that he's now delivered. I hope you find the report of use. From our perspective, though, the report is a starting point. We will start the actions immediately. We will follow through on those actions, and we are willing to be publicly held accountable for the delivery of those actions.